Welcome back to House of Worth. In this episode, I'm helping you understand what your fourth house says about you, your subconscious beliefs about home, safety, and identity. So you can rewrite outdated programming and create a life that feels emotionally and energetically safe for success. Hey, Star Family, welcome back to House of Worth, where you are learning how to design your signature life according to your natal chart. The last 3 episodes, we went over the first house, which is your avatar, and the room of choice was the closet. The second video was about your second house, which is about your material world and how you make your money. And we use the living room as the example of the aesthetic for that sign. And then the last episode, we discussed the third house, which is about communication. And I used the dining room as the gathering place and shared the aesthetic in that room. And in this episode, we are going to talk about the fourth house. And the fourth house is about your physical home. It is about your subconscious beliefs. It's about any of the programmings that you are operating from that are blocking you from this sense of security that you are desiring. This is also the house of your parents and your mother energy. And remember that there are unspoken rules in the home. We pay attention to what a mother means. What is a good mother? What is a good father? What is a bad mother? What is a bad father? We pick up on everything, and this forms the way that we become mothers in the world. And because of picking up on our parents, it becomes a default of expectations in adulthood. And it's our self-worth architecture and our relationship to safety, money, and success. Your parents, ancestors model the energetic blueprint, but you must evolve beyond that. So you can imagine as a child in your home, you are receiving because your subconscious mind is not fully developed. So you're like a sponge and you just absorb everything. And that tends to form your reality because you pick up limiting beliefs about yourself and your self-worth. And so through your years of growing up, you will look at the lens of the way that you grew up in your home, the imprint on you as to who you are and how you navigate and how you create safety in the world. Because not only is the home where we enter to protect us from nature, it's also our physical body and how we take care of our body to home our spirit. And our spirit is our subconscious beliefs, the psychology of who we are, as well as the unseen world. And so the fourth house is really important in this segment. It is also ruled by the moon. And the natural placement for the fourth house is Cancer, which is a water sign. And Cancers are known to be the nurturer. They have that motherly intuition. And so through this video, I hope to help you understand better how your fourth house resonates with you. And the room of choice that I'm using is the exterior of the home, the shell of the home, the curb appeal. And so as we went through the other houses, now you are learning about your boundaries. That's why I chose the exterior of the home to represent the zodiac sign that is placed in your fourth house. This is how you look through the lens and how you create safety, what your ideal of safety is. But the whole time you're fighting against the subconscious beliefs that have built your reality so far. So one of the revelations that I had recently while I was journaling is I had a belief from my mother And I'm sure that she picked it up from her mother and from my ancestral lineage of women. And the belief that I had is that it's my responsibility to take care of the home, take care of the children, put myself last. And I didn't even realize I was doing it because it happened automatically. It just was an innate part of me. So I thought. I didn't realize it was a belief I picked up. That's what happens when you get programmed from your family. Because what I saw with my mother is that in order to be in a relationship, she would always put herself last. She would put us last. It was all about this partner that she had. And so somewhere down the road, I picked up that I needed to sacrifice myself as a mother, as a wife. And that's what meant, in my mind, that's what meant being a good mother. And what I realized as I've been doing the inner work and I've been going through this, that putting yourself last doesn't make you a good mother. You are just teaching your children to put themselves last. You are teaching them to be a doormat. And through the realization of that, it empowered me to take back my time, take back my vision, my authentic self, who I want to be in the world. And a lot of times we go through the end of our lives not even knowing who we are because we've given so much to the people around us, the people that we love. And, me personally, I thought it was putting myself last, that I was showing the people that were very important to me how much I love them. And I want my children to feel empowered. I want them to go out and put themselves first. I don't want them to get into a relationship where they're putting themselves last. And so that's why it's so important that I do this inner work so I can shed those, because there's something magical that happens when you do this inner work. As you shed your DNA that is in your children, it sheds. It's it's really bizarre, but automatically it's like the energy just lifts and they start seeing things through a different lens without you even having to coach them or guide them, because we are so intertwined with our DNA. So, what I realized is that it was safe for me to speak my truth, to be seen, um, and still support my family and the women that I choose to work with without abandoning myself. Because as women, we abandon ourselves every time we say no to what we want, what we desire, what we want to experience. Every time we say no, it's that little girl inside of us that dies because she's not able to fully express herself. So, why I chose the exterior of the home as a visual, it's because it's the boundaries that we show the world. It's our first layer of protection. It's the facade that we curate based on what we learned growing up. It symbolizes how you present your sense of home, identity, and safety to the outside world. Before we go inside a home, we look at the entrance, the mirrors, how we approach our emotional world. And through this, you'll understand your aesthetic according to the zodiac sign that is in your fourth house. And how you will know what zodiac sign you have in your fourth house is according to your rising sign. Now, this explains how you connect to home by using a visual of the exterior for that zodiac sign. It's not going to be your aesthetic according to your rising sign. If you want to look at what your aesthetic would be, you would take a look at your rising sign in the fourth house, and where you have Venus, and compare both of those to find what the kind of house that you would like. For instance, if If you have a Gemini rising, you would have Virgo in the fourth house. And the Virgo aesthetic is going to resonate with a Virgo rising. Okay, so let's just get into all of the 12 zodiac signs in the fourth house. And if you want to find your exact fourth house, look in the timestamp below. But don't only just look at your fourth house, because there's an important message throughout this video for you to gain your self-worth and to design your signature life. So it's not just about that short segment that relates to your zodiac sign. If you're an Aries rising, you would have Cancer in the fourth house. And so that is the natural placement for the fourth house. So you would be someone that was very nurturing. You have a way of creating a home that feels soft and nostalgic. And I'm going to just pop up the image here of what the exterior of the home looks like as I read about the characteristics of the zodiac sign in the fourth house. So you would also, your psychology would be deep emotional and a memory keeper. Your subconscious um, is holding on the memory that if I protect everyone, maybe they will stay. So if you have any abandonment issues and you are feeling like a people pleaser and you are taking care of everybody else's needs first, it is because there is a subconscious belief that you have to be last. Um, and that is something that you are working through, that nobody is going to abandon you because you abandon yourself. You don't need to abandon yourself, just like I was speaking about previously. You don't have to abandon yourself to keep the loved ones, your loved ones, close. And your home meaning is emotional connection and belonging. So when you think of that, be mindful of what home means, because home is a sense of security. So be mindful of how you are nurturing yourself first. Now, if you are a Taurus rising, you would have Leo in the fourth house. And, you know, Leos get a bad rap of being bold and egotistical, but that would be more of a toxic trait of a Leo. Leos, I'm a Leo sun, so Leos are very generous, they're loyal, they're courageous. They make great leaders because they're not coming from ego. They're coming from a place of being generous and creative and wanting to inspire. So here is the image of a Leo's, outside of a Leo's aesthetic when it comes to their curb appeal. And it's warm, expressive, curated, and there's statement pieces like a fountain. And the psychology part of Leo's fourth house is I need to be acknowledged to feel safe. So if you have a Leo in the fourth house and you feel like you were never seen by your mother, your parents, and you felt like maybe you or there was chaos in the home and you felt like you had to dim your light, that is a subconscious belief that you have to work through. And for you, the home meaning would be creativity, celebration, and self expression. So, home is a place where you can fully just, where you entertain and you express yourself through everything that you create in the home. And that's what makes you feel really inspired. Now, if you are a Gemini rising, you would have Virgo in the fourth house. And Virgos, you know, they're earth sign, they're very grounded. They love to be surrounded by nature. Um, their home needs to be without chaos. And their aesthetic is here's the image of the exterior of a Virgo fourth house. It's clean, efficient, neutral, organized. Um, you can see it's like the clean farmhouse look. And then the psychology would be hyper self-sufficiency learned early. So you feel like you have to be self-sufficient because of maybe the way that you were raised. You know, you could have been raised by a single parent and you had to grow up early and be self-sufficient. You maybe felt like you weren't protected because innately you always knew you have that innate um, inner knowing that that's part of Virgo. Virgo needs to be self sufficient. So, although it comes naturally to you, as a child, you don't understand it. And your subconscious might say that you must be needed to have value, and so you want people to need you in order for you to feel that your self-worth, and that is a subconscious belief because you have this sense of abandonment. You could, you know, like I said before, if you came from a home of a single parent family, you might have that scar of your father not being around and believing that if you're efficient and you take care of everything and you do as you're told and you be the good girl, then your parent would see your value. The person that abandoned you would know that you were worth sticking around for or coming back for. So that is something that you have to work through by finding your inner value. And then home meaning to you is order, purity, and intentional living. And when you live by those characteristics, you feel at home. So if there's chaos in your home, you feel the disorder because Mercury is the planet that rules Virgo. You're going to feel a lot of chaos in your head. Purity is, you know, just clean and not a lot of clutter and just simplified, and be intentional about like what you bring in your home, how you organize it. So everything that you bring in your home, you really care for it. You take care of it. You keep it organized as best as you can without letting perfectionism sneak in. Now, if you are a Cancer rising, then you would have Libra in the fourth house. And Libras need balance in their life. So, your aesthetic, here's the image of the home that would best be suited for a Libra fourth house, which is beautiful, balanced, airy, and harmonious. The psychology you would feel in the fourth house would be people pleasing, conditioned in childhood. So, it again, if there's chaos in your life, and like if there was a emotionally unavailable parent. You will overgive in relationships because you want to create balance. You need to know that you are deserving of love. And so, because Libras love love so much, they can find themselves in toxic relationships. So, the most important lesson for you is to learn how to love yourself, give yourself peace, give yourself balance, create your own beauty, and not look through it externally. And that subconscious belief would be that harmony is more important than honesty. So if you find yourself not speaking your truth because you don't want to cause any conflict or create any chaos in the home. Or you could be the opposite and you could be very combative in your home. But this depends on your placements. Remember, I don't have your zodiac chart in front of me, your natal chart. But for the basics of a Libra in the fourth house, that would be most important for you to create as much harmony and peace in the home at any cost, which causes you to be a people pleaser. And then home, the meaning of home for you is peace, aesthetics, and relational warmth. So you have very traditional ideas about the home. You have your aesthetics, like you want it to be balanced with the masculine and feminine, but very beautiful. And this is the image of of your curb appeal if you have a Libra fourth house. If you are a Leo rising, you would have Scorpio in your fourth house. And, Scorpios are very private. Being that this is about your subconscious beliefs, it's like you have to transform them. You have to go into the shadows. And your aesthetic, here's an image of your curb appeal, is very moody, intimate, secret corners, deep sensuality. The psychology is intense childhood emotional experiences. So there could have been a lot of chaos in the home, or maybe there's some shame that you picked up, shame and guilt in the home. And I have to say this with Scorpio, because Scorpio rules intimacy and schmecks. I'm coding the words so this video doesn't get flagged, but you know what I mean. But there could have been sexual abuse as a child in the home with the Scorpio fourth house. I have to put that out there. Unfortunately, it happens, and we're finding out more and more that this is an epidemic in our country. And your subconscious is trust is dangerous because the people that you love, they overstepped your boundaries. And the people that you trusted most did things that built up this wall that you don't trust anyone. And home meaning for you is emotional truth, rebirth, and privacy. So you're like you're going through metamorphosis all of the time. You're going into the shadow. So it's very exhausting. So you need to have the downtime. You need to have your privacy. You can engage with a lot of people, but home is your sanctuary. Now, if you are a Virgo rising, you would have Sagittarius in the first house. And Sagittarius is the world traveler. So you would find staying in luxury hotels would be fun for you to travel. And so it's like home, even though home means something to you, and this is your aesthetic here. Take a look at this image for a Sag fourth house. But you do like to travel. You like the experience of experiencing new home environments. So your aesthetic is like travel artifacts, open spaces, light, global influence. Your psychology is home was expansive or chaotic. It could be either or, because Sagittarius's natural ruling placement is the house of religion and psychology. And you might have found that you moved around too much as a child. You didn't feel like you had any roots, or you had a lot of friends from all different backgrounds. You could have even grew up in a military home where a lot of your friends were from different backgrounds from military bases. Or you could have just moved around quite a bit as a child. And the subconscious is, I'm not meant to stay in one place. So you might find yourself getting restless. That's why you enjoy going to hotels and experiencing a new environment. And home meaning for you is freedom, learning, and adventure. So sometimes you might waffle back and forth of like wanting to just have an RV and travel the world instead of putting your roots down. But you do have to nurture yourself with travel. And if you can't travel overseas, then go stay at a hotel and change your environment, because it's really good for your soul. If you are a Libra rising, you would have Capricorn in the fourth house. And, Capricorn is the father energy. So there could be some shadows around father and having a stern father. Here is the picture of your curb appeal as a Capricorn fourth house, and your aesthetic is classic, structured, high quality, elegant minimalism. The psychology is responsible early. So if you have the Capricorn, you know that you took on a lot of responsibility at a young age, and it caused a lot of emotional restraint. The subconscious is, I must carry everything alone. So you might find that you overwork yourself because you just don't have trust that someone can come and do it the way that you want it to be done. And your home meaning for you is legacy, structure, and earned security. Home is your place of security. That's you're very traditionalist. Celebrating the holidays are important to you, but sometimes it could be overly structured because maybe when you grew up, there wasn't a lot of structure in the home. So if you were a Scorpio rising, you would have Aquarius in the fourth house, which means that you grew up in a non-traditional home. Might have seemed very eccentric, or there was like his and hers, like step siblings, not the traditional, mother, father, and growing up with your siblings. It could be blended families. It could be a blend of different nationalities. Your home was not conventional, and so because of that, you learn to be a rebel and nonconformist, and really take things. You could come off as being aloof in the home. So here's the aesthetic of a Aquarius curb appeal according to the fourth house and, of course, the rising sign. The aesthetic would be eclectic, modern, unexpected, and innovative. The psychology is emotional detachment, outsider feeling. So, like I said, if they're step siblings, it's like not feeling like you're treated like a real daughter or a real son, or feeling like if you have a stepmother, it could be that way. It's just always feeling like you didn't fit in with your family. There's something that you kind of just did things your way because of that nonconformity. Um, Also, your subconscious is, I don't fit into my own home, going back to that outside feeling. So that's where you maybe wanted to move out at an early age and create your own definition of what home means to you, because it just didn't feel that way where you live. Also, you could feel like even on this planet, you might feel like you're not at home, like something is missing. You belong somewhere. There's something about you that feels so different. And then your home meaning is innovation, individuality, unconventional belonging. So even though you might have grown up that way, you gravitate towards unconventional home. So you might even have your own blended family as an adult. And you have to remind yourself that if you don't heal the shadows of not feeling like you belonged from your childhood of living in that blended family, you will carry that through to your environment in the home that you live in now, with the husband that you have and the children you have, and even maybe feeling like your stepchildren that they don't respect you, or they're manipulating you. And there could be that feeling of not fitting in because you're not their birth mother or father. Now, if you are a Sagittarius rising, you would have Pisces in the fourth house. And, Pisces are highly intuitive. Pisces are, they have a lot of compassion, and they feel other people's emotions. So for you, here is an image of the aesthetic, the curb appeal of your exterior of your home, which is dreamy, oceanic, soft lighting, and spiritual decor. The psychology would be psychic sensitivity to family dynamics. So you might find that you shut down in the home. You were the quiet one. You were highly sensitive. You were always being told, oh, stop being so sensitive. Why are you crying now? And so you learned how to shut down those intuitive gifts. And so you might be finding right now that they're coming back on board with everything that we're going through. That your sensitivity is just like when I think of like a caterpillar where they have all of those, legs or whatever you want to call it, and they touch their way through. And that helps them maneuver to where they're going to go through a rebirth. And so your sensitivity is a superpower. It is nothing to be ashamed about. And so the subconscious could be that I carry everyone's emotion. So you have to learn to have really good boundaries because you are an empath and you do absorb other people's emotions. And if you don't realize that you're doing it, you take them on as your own. And then the home meaning for you is healing, transcendence, artistic, and safety. So it has that very fluid feeling in your home that feels safe. And you love the dreaminess and watery feeling of home. So anything that feels too stifling, you shut down from it. And then if you are a Capricorn rising, you would have Aries in your fourth house. And here is an image of Aries' fourth house. Now, Aries in the fourth house can sometimes be a little reactive and argumentative and combative. So, your aesthetic is here's the image here. Your aesthetic is minimal, modern, bold accents, movement, and friendly spaces. The psychology is fiercely independent. You grew up needing to rely on self. So you grew up early. It's like, you could have been the stubborn child that where your mom's telling you, don't do this, you're going to do it anyway because you needed to learn the hard way. And there was always like some kind of argument or, getting in trouble all the time because you were just so fiercely independent. And then the subconscious is, I can't depend on anyone. And that is something you have to overcome in the shadowy aspects because we all need each other. And if you're too hyper independent, you isolate yourself. And home meaning for you is a launch pad for personal freedom. So in the home, it's like you create the safety that you need so that you can have this entrepreneurial spirit and take more risks in life. And then if you are an Aquarius rising like me, you would have Taurus in the fourth house. And so as a Taurus in the fourth house, stability is very important to you. So again, you might have moved around quite a bit. I did as a child. And there might have not been that traditional family life, with the mother, father, and that sense of stability. I know for me, my mother was a single parent. We dealt with a lot of evictions, moving out, losing everything that we've had. So, because of that, here is an image of a Taurus's curb appeal. The aesthetic is earthy, sensual textures, cozy, stable, beautiful. The psychology is needs consistency, grew up in predictable or stubborn dynamics. So for me, it was not predictable. Yes, it was stubborn because of, my mom saw it her way and it had to be this way. But I do find that as an adult, to counter all of that unpredictable, I really, home is very important to me. And so the subconscious is comfort must be earned and protected. And I do agree with that because of the subconscious belief when it's unpredictable, you really want stability. That becomes your North Star. Also, I do find that um, I became an interior designer. And so what happened is I attracted a lot of people in my life that I gave away my gift freely because I felt like that was something I needed to earn to have friendships. The home meaning for Taurus fourth house is safety, sensual pleasure, and groundedness. And so this is where stability, I have to live in a beautiful home. A beautiful home is important to me. I work from my home. So if there's chaos in my house, or if there is a sudden move, or I feel like my stability is shaking, it causes a lot of anxiety for me. So if you have Taurus fourth house, you can relate to that. And then if you are a Pisces rising, in you would have Gemini in the fourth house. And so Geminis are like your social butterflies. And in the fourth house, here is your aesthetic. It's light, airy, multi-use rooms, books, movement. Your psychology is home equals conversation and mental stimulation. The subconscious is I need to understand everything to feel safe. So you might feel like you are the observer, like you're just like if you didn't feel safe in the home, you're just constantly reading people, constantly seeing, but then also feeling like you have to be the smart kid. You have to learn a lot of subjects in order to get praise from the family. You might feel like you were overlooked as a child. And so you became a high achiever in your life and learned more so people or your family could see you. Your subconscious is, I need to understand everything to feel safe. And that's where learning gave you power. And your home meaning is curiosity, communication, and adaptability. And so, as a Gemini rising, because you're talkative, so you might have gotten yourself in trouble because you were always gossiping about what other people were doing, being nosy, looking out the window, wanting to see what's going on in the neighborhood. And you just sometimes you got in trouble just for talking too much. And so the shadowy part of it is that you have to heal that learning comes naturally to you, and that your safety comes in knowing that it's okay to be a social butterfly, and even in the way that you learn, because you might find that you jump around from subject to subject, but that's just the way your brain works. It's not like you have ADHD. I mean, you could have ADHD, but I do think Geminis get the rap of like, because it's hard for them to focus for a long period of time. So when it comes to learning, learn the way that you learn. And so even when it comes to your home and uh, creating a home, you do it the way that best describes you. If it's one bouncing from one room half done and then going to another room and finishing that half, eventually you will finish, right? Eventually it will get done. So don't beat yourself up on the fact that sometimes you feel like you're all over the place. So now we're going to talk about neuroplasticity and rewriting the fourth house beliefs. So, you know, it is the brain rewires. So neuroplasticity is about rewiring your brain and creating new emotional experiences by repeating them. And old beliefs are interrupted. And then you pair new behaviors with safety. So, again, it's like if you have that where you're beating yourself up because you're bouncing around at too many things, you've got to learn how to focus a little bit at a time to create a new rewiring of the brain. But then also you have to tell yourself that you're unique at the way that you see things and how you explore things. And so you reprogram the negative and make it positive. So here are some prompts for you to use while you're rewiring. What belief about home or belonging did I inherit that doesn't belong to me? Where did self-sacrifice become my identity? And what is my new identity? What does safety feel like in my body, in my home? What does that adult version of me no longer tolerate emotionally? What am I allowed to want openly? How do I build a home that feels like my future and not my past? So the shadow work of going through and really working through those emotions that come through, are these triggers that you have with the home, helps you to redefine what home means to you. And here is something I'd like to end it with is how your moon placement shapes your fourth house experience. Because the fourth house is ruled by the moon. So the moon is the emotional body. It's your inner child. It's your instincts and your memory. It rules the fourth house, the birthplace of your subconscious programming. So wherever the moon is, it reveals how you emotionally processed your childhood environment, what kind of nurturing you learn to expect, where you seek safety now as an adult, what triggers your nervous system, how you recreate familiar patterns without realizing it. So take a look and see where you have the moon in your chart so you can understand your emotional aspects as well as your fourth house. So your fourth house shows the architecture of your emotional home. Your moon shows how you feel inside the home. The fourth house equals environment, roots, and conditioning. And the moon is emotional digestion, interpretation, and attachment style. So, for instance, two people with a Scorpio fourth house, a moon in Cancer, will be emotionally enmeshed through sensitive memory and memory heavy. A moon in Capricorn would be stoic, self-reliant, suppressed emotional expression. So look in and see how it applies to you. And if you found this episode interesting, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and you hit the like button, or share this episode with someone that you care about, and leave your fourth house placement. I might go in deeper, and where your moon is, I might go in deeper just for you down in the comments section. And I will see you on the next episode where we're going into the fifth house of creative expression. See you next time.